Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Monkey Wrench. I'm Kelly, the monkey with the wrench. Today we're doing a house call. We're out here on, I don't know, about 10 acres. And this is a return customer of mine. I've not had to see her in, I don't know, 3 years or something. The last time I worked on this. And honestly, when I got here, I said, well, I remember your house and I remember coming, but is that the same mower? It's been so long. But anyway, we are working today on this Gravely with a 32-inch deck. And she called me up. Well, she texted me because I do everything by text. And she said she was mowing with it. And it stopped driving. So she turned it off to, kind of take a look as you would. And she didn't see anything out of place, so she got back on it, tried to start it, and when she hit the key, nothing happened. So I came out and took a look at it the day before yesterday. Yesterday we had the top of a tropical cyclone come across Florida, so we had a lot of rain yesterday. And I wasn't coming out here in the field to do a house call. So for those of you who watch my channel and think that I'm full of bull, there's Ellie, my electric bike, there's my trailer, and there's all the tools I bring. Belts, she wants an oil change, filter, solenoid, tools, my jack's over there with another jack stand. So anyway, when I came out here and took a look at it, I got down underneath, and the first thing I noticed, and I can't show you because there's about 5 inches of space until I get it jacked up, but the first thing I noticed is the drive belt popped off. She didn't notice because when the belt came off, it goes around a pulley on the back, and when it came off, instead of coming down where it might have fallen off, it actually worked its way to the top side of the pulley. And there's a tensioner down there that keeps tension on it, so it was enough when it worked its way off the top of the pulley that it went above the pulley and stayed there. So you might think, well, if a belt came off, why couldn't she tell that it was just laying there, that there was a loose belt or something like that? Well, in this case, it didn't break. It just worked its way off, and it went above the pulley and stayed there. So unless she knew what she was looking at, there's no way she would have noticed. So I'll show you that after I get it jacked up, which will be here in a minute. And I noticed that right away, so I said, okay, well, that's a fairly easy problem. It could be a bad pulley. The grass here, believe it or not, is taller than it looks. She was cutting a lot of it. Some of this here is, 5-6 inches tall. And this is a small machine. I don't remember off the top of my head how big the motor is, but I want to say it's fairly small. Oh, it looks like it's a Kawasaki. I don't think you'll be able to tell, but it looks like it's a 15 horse, 15.0. So it looks like it's a 15 horse Kawasaki. People think when they have a zero turn that it's a machine, you know what I mean? It's not some little riding lawnmower. They think it's a machine that can cut through anything. Well, she's got the deck, or she did have the deck, as low as it could possibly go. The grass was a good 6 inches tall. And when people are on zero turns, they don't go slow. These things are made to cover some ground. They go twice as fast as your average riding lawnmower. So in my guess, and you may be able to see over here better, my guess, first of all, is that the belt was, pretty worn. I haven't seen her in 3 years, and I didn't put the last belt on. So the belt is 3, 4, 5 years old. She cuts this entire property every week or two and has been doing for years, and we get long grass seasons in Florida. So the belt was worn. She was cutting fast with a small engine. And I think what happened was sometimes when you do that and you have it on the lowest setting, that it will put too much tension on the belt and it can work the belt off. Now, what I explained to her right off the top is, when you're cutting a property, especially in Florida, with 2 weeks of growth, the grass will grow a foot. It's very fast growing down here. So if you're cutting every 2 weeks, the grass is getting a little bit tall, and then you put the machine on the lowest setting and go as fast as you can, sooner or later you're going to have issues. Now, she's lucky all it is belt that came off. So we bought the new belts, drive belt and deck belt. There's 2 belts there. And the reason that I bought both of them is, even though it's just a drive belt, I didn't take it off, but I expected the belt to be larger than it was, and it wasn't. So I said, well, while I'm here at the store, let me get them both, and I'll return the one that we don't need. So once I get it off, I can size it up and make sure that I have the correct belt. But the guys that I get my parts from at the parts house, they're usually spot on. So I shouldn't have any issues. Oh, it's a Gravely 34Z. There it is, Gravely 34Z. So after I checked out the belt and everything, I hit the key, of course. Figured, I'd deal with the belt after. I hit the key, nothing happened. So what I ended up doing was taking the top cover off here. And I didn't put everything back together. But I took this top cover off and I pulled the leads off of the magnetos. There's twin cylinders, twin magnetos. I pulled the kill wires off because there's no way to test anything with the seat in the down position and a safety switch in the seat and the battery underneath, which that's my motorcycle battery. Hers was dead because they left the key on. I could not jump the solenoid. The solenoid is right there. Okay, so I couldn't jump that with a screwdriver to find out. So I turned on the key, jumped the solenoid first thing when I wasn't getting anything, and of course it sent power to the motor, but the motor didn't start. So I pulled the top cover off, pulled the wires off the magneto, it's just little spade clips, and then I went ahead and jumped the solenoid again, and it fired right up. I had to spray a little bit of starter fluid in there, but I think that's because it was out of gas. So since then we've put gas in it. Haven't done anything to it. I'm about to go get her battery, which I left on the charger. Should be charged, reinstall her battery, and I'm going to do the same thing. What we're here to do basically is change the solenoid and then test it out. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to change the solenoid, and then I'm going to hit the key, put the seat back down, sit down on it because all the safety's on it, and then make sure that it starts. Make sure that it's just the solenoid. There's no way to tell if it's just the solenoid because of all the safeties in the system. So I'm going to switch that out real quick. First, I'm going to go get her battery, put it back in for you. Then I'm going to try to set up the camera, show you changing out the solenoid. Then we're going to turn the key, see if we can get it to start and shut off the way it's supposed to. And then we'll deal with the drive belt after that. So bear with me. We'll see what we can do here. Okay, so this is what the new solenoid looks like. For those of you that don't know, this is a 4-post solenoid. So you got power coming in from the battery, power going out to the starter, and this is a switch. When you hit the key, it sends power here, closes the switch, and allows the power to flow to the starter. When you turn the key backwards to the run position, or it springs back, it opens this switch back up and stops running power to the starter. And this is your ground, your negative. You can get a 3-post solenoid, which works exactly the same, only the ground is the body. Okay, the body itself is grounded to the machine when you bolt it on. Now in our case, we have a bolt here and a bolt here that's bolted down to the machine that I have to get out, and those are 10mm heads. So I took one out to make sure it was a bolt and it was threaded into the machine, and not a nut and bolt, because getting under that thing would be a pain in the butt. So I got one side out, but these wires are in the way, so I can't get the other side out until I take off the wires. So basically, what I'm going to do, I've taken the bolt out of this side, which is what holds it to the frame. There's another one on the other side. Right now, I've got to take this nut and this nut off so I can take the wires off and then get to that bolt. Once I do, I can unplug the two wires in the front. Make sure you remember which one goes where, and that's all you have to do. Plug in the new one, bolt it back down, you're good to go. So give me a minute to get that out. Now these are real simple. Those are the two bolts that were on the top of the solenoid, right there and there. Now I can just lift those wires off. Okay, and just remembering where they go. This one has two. All right, so remember to put those back on accordingly. And then this side just has the single that goes up to the starter. Just tuck that out of the way. Then we've got these two here. One's a negative, one's a positive. Now I can get to that last bolt and lift the solenoid out of place. Okay, now that I got the last bolt out of place, and I can't see because it's so bright here today and I'm not working in the shade, but the solenoid will just lift out. And when I put the old solenoid right next to the new solenoid, you'll see that they are in fact the same. Easy peasy. So now I'm going to do is bolt the new one back down in place over here where it goes. I'm going to clean all that dirt out of there real quick, reconnect the wires, and see if we have our key back. Like I said, there's a possibility that not just the solenoid fried, because I know that that did, because it worked when I jumped it with a couple of screwdrivers. But we could have a safety switch that's bad, and there's no way to know that till we put the solenoid back on, have the battery attached, sit down on the seat with that one, that safety switch engaged. I couldn't jump the solenoid with the seat down and be in two places at once. So we had to change that anyway. So let me hook that back up real quick and let's see if she'll start. Okay, now I suspect that it's more than just the solenoid. The new solenoid's in, everything's connected, bolted down. There's the old solenoid. Seat's down now, I can sit in the seat. So that safety's on now. These arms do not move left to right, they only move forward and back. And they only move forward and back when the brake is not on. Oh, that they were yesterday. Now they're moving in all directions. The brake's over here. It doesn't tell you which direction. Parking brake off in the front, towards you is parking brake on. So there's nothing here to be set. They're supposed to be there. I turn on the key, the hour meter comes on. There we go, look at that. One more again, because you know I always do it twice. Make sure I put the choke on. Okay, that time when I turned off the key, it didn't want to turn off right away, so I'm going to do it a third time. Okay, so our fried solenoid is now unfried. The old one was shot. It's, you know, it is what it is. The new one's in place. Let me see if I can get you close here. I got you back on the tripod. Let me see if I can get you in here just to show you. A nice shiny new solenoid. Again, 2 bolts, one on the outside of each side, and that bolts strictly to the frame of the machine. And in this case, there's no nut on the bottom to worry about. And then our 2 power wires go on that side. Power wire to the starter goes on this side. They just got snapped down. And then our power wire from the key and our ground to the body. And again, when you hit the key, it sends power right here to this little spade junction, which puts power to this machine, this solenoid switch, and closes it. It closes the bridge between those 2 poles and allows the power from the battery to go to your starter. That's all that is. It's a fancy word for frickin' switch. So let's see. I don't know if I'm gonna make this 2-part video, 2 different videos, or if I'm gonna make it 1. But if I make it 2 parts, that's how you put a solenoid on a Gravely 34Z. That's how you put a solenoid on any riding mower, anything. They may look a little different the way they bolt down, but they all work exactly the same, either a 3-point or a 4-point solenoid. Sorry, my hands shake. Let me put this back on the tripod. That's how you switch a solenoid. Do not be overwhelmed or afraid to attempt to do something like that. The one thing I didn't tell you is take the leads off the battery, just so you don't spark and touch something you're not supposed to. But other than that, it's not a scary project. You can go ahead and change your solenoid and get yourself back in business. If this is the end of this video, hit the like button if you made it this long. Hit the subscribe button if you already haven't. We're almost to 1,000. I think I'm almost to 900 now. Thanks for stopping by. See you soon. And if I put the drive belt on this video as well, thanks for sticking around. Still, hit the subscribe button.